Hi friends, welcome back to the Dreadlock Culture channel. My name is Nadia, and in today's video, we're talking about how to manage the loose hair on the front of your locks. In this video, I will be answering the most common questions that I get with respect to this topic. I will be explaining how I take care of them, how I style them, and also if you are considering to do a similar style like this, I will help you figure out if this is the right choice for you. So before I get started, I just want to give you a little bit of context into my lock journey with respect to my loose hair. When I started my locks, I had a full head of locks. So this area was actually locked up. And after about, I would say 3.5 years, I was kind of looking for a change because I don't dye my hair. I have barely put any accessories on it. So I needed something to just give me a different look. One of the things that I was self-conscious about at the time, especially, was that the top of my head looked messy all the time because I wasn't getting root maintenance too often. And so I did have a lot of loose hair around my roots, which I still do, but it does help to have some of this loose hair in the front just to hide it or cover it up a little bit better. And also I needed something that maybe would frame my face a little bit differently or give me kind of like a softer look, I guess. I had also seen some photos on social media, primarily like Pinterest and Instagram, with some girls that had partial locks. And initially I kind of started going after that idea, and I thought I was going to brush out like the top section just to have more of a loose hairstyle from the top and then have the locks below that. And yeah, I went on a vacation and I figured, well, I'm going to have some free time. So I'll do, I'll brush out my 10 or how many ever locks. And I got to lock number 4, and that was about, in total, I think each lock took me about 5 hours to brush out. So in total, that was about 20 hours. And by the end of my vacation, of course, I had only gotten to lock number 4. And then I said, okay, well, I'll be home, and just, life happens. And I didn't continue with brushing them out. So at this point, I only have the 2 that I had here and here. So these 4 up at the top, I brushed those out. And I guess maybe about 3 years happened. So this was about last year when at the beginning, I would maintain them fairly well. And then I just kind of got lazy and I would wash them, but that was about it. So I stopped brushing them and I wasn't conditioning them. So it was about last year when I had my last root appointment that I really paid attention to what was happening, and I had 9 free-form locks. So then after that appointment, I decided to brush those out. So now that area is all brushed out again, except one. So here I have one teeny tiny one, and this one I have yet to brush out, but that's still, gosh, I just haven't made the time for it. And I will at some point probably, but that's not a priority for me right now. In any case, I just wanted to tell you that to give you a little bit of context, but let's get into your questions now. The first question is it difficult to maintain? And for me, at least, the answer is no. I find it just as easy to maintain the rest of my locks as I do this section. And the only difference in maintenance for me is that I just wash it a little bit more often. So my locks, I'll wash those once a week, and my loose hair, I'll wash that 2 to 3 times a week. When I'm washing my locks, of course, I'll wash this part as well. I'll use the same shampoo, and basically nothing changes in that routine. I dry them with my microfiber towel. I let them air dry. Everything basically stays the same as my basic washing routine. Then maybe sometime in the middle of the week, my hair will start getting greasy. And this is because the sebum will start spreading. I don't know how to describe it, but it'll, kind of make its way down the hair cuticle. And then it'll just kind of start weighing down the hair. It'll, it won't look nice. So then when I look at my hair, I'm like, maybe it needs a little pick-me-up or it needs to be washed. Then I'll just wash this section of hair. So I'll separate this part from the rest of my locks, and I'll take my locks back. I'll put my locks up in a ponytail, and then I'll just wash this section just like this under the shower. So the shower head will be right in front of me, and I'll wash it like from the top all the way to the ends. Then I'll condition it, but I'll only add conditioner to the bottom half. And again, this is because I don't want it to weigh my hair down. I don't want it to look greasy. I just kind of want to add some moisture to this section of hair. And yeah, then I'll just let it air dry. If I feel the need, I will either put my fingers through it to just detangle some of it, or I'll comb it out with just a regular fine comb. And that's it on maintenance. The next question I get is, how do I style it? And to be honest, I don't usually style it. My hair looks like this most of the time. But when I do style it, or if I need it out of my face, there's a few things I'll do. When I need it out of my face, I will just take this section of hair and maybe I'll put a ponytail on it or style it in a specific way depending on where I'm going or what I'm doing. And I actually just posted a video on how to style your locks and get your hair out of your face. So I will link that in the description so you get some styling ideas and then you can get creative with that. That's one way. Another way that you can do is just by only taking the loose hair, you can braid it. So let me see if I can kind of show you. I'll do a little side braid. Trying to get my locks out of the way. Something like this, more or less. Of course, I'll be looking in a mirror to make sure it looks good, but then I'll take a braid like this, and sometimes I'll start it from over here and kind of go over with just the loose hair. Then I'll pin it back. You can either do that with a little bobby pin if you want to just pin it back and tuck it in somewhere, or you can grab a regular pin and then pin it to one of your locks and then just kind of let it, just style it in a pretty way like that, and it's out of your face. Or you can just grab it like this and then pull it towards the back and then do a ponytail. So then it'll just kind of stay in that style without you having to pin anything on it. You'll just, put it like this. You can either put a bun, you can style it however you want, but having it taken back like this also gives a nice, I think, look to the style as well. And then finally, if I just want to have my hair loose, but I also want it out of my face, then I'll take a headband. So I have so many headbands, but this one has a silk-like material. Silk is good because it's not gonna produce lint, and it also prevents frizz. I have this other headband that is called a moisture wicking band. And this, if I'm going to exercise or something, this will absorb a lot of sweat. So I like to use this one. And then when I want to have a little bit more of a style or color or something, I'll use a headband that looks like this. This one has a decorative pattern. This one's just plain. So it depends if it matches my outfit, or I just, want to look a little bit different, spice it up a little bit, then I'll use something like this. The next question I get asked is, how do I know if I will like it? And if you're considering to brush some of your locks out and try something new, then the only real way that you'll know if it's right for you is to try it. And that's how I learned, because I wasn't really sure what my hair was going to do. My hair generally is very flat, and I was expecting that maybe it wasn't going to work out and it wasn't going to look good afterwards. So go with that expectation that maybe you're going to like it, maybe you're not. But if you are considering it, then I would personally take the leap and just try and see if it looks good on you. What I recommend you do, though, is that you start by brushing out the two front locks that frame your face the best. And then after you've done that, kind of see how you feel, if you like it. And if you do, you can continue with two more. So you can either do the two next ones on the front of your face, or like me, you can just do the two that follow behind it and get a feel for how the style looks on you. If you like it, wonderful. And then you can do more if you want or not. It's completely up to you. The way that I brush them out, and I'm not saying this is the only way to do it, but the way I did it and that worked for me, is that I cut about half of my lock. And this is because about this section, or the lower half of my locks, my hair, is no longer attached to my head. So I was brushing without, just, it ended up becoming one massive hairball. And by the time that I brushed it to the top, I only really had this much hair. So I cut it in about half, and then with my crochet needle, I just slowly started removing and just getting, opening up the hair and detangling. very gently. And I did it with dry hair. And based on something that I learned recently, which is that wet hair is more prone to damage than dry hair, I would recommend doing this on dry hair. So I was pulling very slowly, trying to gently detangle all the way up until I got to the root. And once all of this was detangled, I gently brushed it out, and then I doused it, basically drowned it in a mixture of conditioner and apple cider vinegar. And so then that softened up the hair, and I let that rest on my hair for a little while. Then after that, I washed it off. And then once it was still wet, I put a carrier oil over it. And I let the carrier oil stay on my head for the rest of the night, and to help it infuse the inner part of the hair and just like really moisturize it well. And yeah, and that's about as easy as it is. It's just a matter of time. It is very time consuming, but it's not a difficult process. Which leads me to my last question, which is, what happens if I don't like how it looks on me? And that is completely valid, but it's nothing to fear about. If you have now loose hair in the front of your face and I don't know, it doesn't look how you wanted, or it's not your thing, that's totally fine. What I would do is I would wait a couple of weeks just to make sure that you don't grow into it. Maybe you're just not used to the style and it just feels weird or uncomfortable, but maybe you can grow into it. And it is a lot of effort. So personally, I would just give it a couple of weeks to see if you like it. And if you really don't, then you can just go back to locks, and either you can lock your own hair in the same like space where you had it. So let's say that you took 2, then you would divide your hair exactly like it was before and just turn each of those sections into locks. I have a video on how to lock the different techniques that work for different hair types. So I'll leave that in the description for you, and how you can lock your own hair if you wanted to do that. Or if you have a trusted loctician, then when you go to your next hair appointment, then just have them put it back into locks. One last thing that I wanted to touch base on was how to manage the loose hair that you'll get between your locks. In my case, because I only get maintenance about once a year, there's a lot of loose hair like this I didn't brush out, and I have in between my locks, I have a lot of loose hair. So it's not always visible on camera, but like this is a really good example. I have those all over my locks. Here's another one. So little bits of hair here and there. It does make your roots look very messy. So if you don't want this to happen, there's a few things that you can do. Number one is that you self-maintain your roots. And I have another video on actually my maintenance video. I discuss how to maintain your roots, and I discuss different techniques for different hair types so that you can tuck those hairs back into your lock. Personally, I think the best way, when it gets to this point anyway, that they're several inches out, then the best way would be to crochet them in. And it's possible either, I mean, at least on the front part that you can see yourself, it's possible to do it on your own, or if you have somebody that can help you, a friend, a family member that can help you. It's not a difficult technique to master. It's just, again, a matter of patience, but it's easy just to bring in all those loose hairs with your crochet needle. And then if you don't want to do that, then you can get root maintenance done a little bit more often. So in order to avoid the risk of hair loss, then I recommend about every 8 weeks or more to get root maintenance. And 8 weeks, I would say, is like the minimum. Some people go as far as saying 6 weeks, but because maintenance causes a lot of root pulling and tension, even when the loctician is gentle and they don't pull too hard on your roots, just the consistent root manipulation can cause hair loss in the future. So you want to stick to a minimum of 8 weeks if possible, and longer if you can. But in the meantime, you can also just do like root rubbing and different techniques to keep your roots as neat as possible. Again, all those techniques are discussed in my maintenance videos, so I will leave that for you in the description if you want to check that out. So there you have it, my friends. I hope I answered all your questions. If I didn't, leave them in the comments and I will be happy to answer any more. If you have loose hair or partial locks and there's a tip or something that I didn't mention but you want to share, then please also leave that in the comments for us below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you want to see more lock content in the future, then please be sure that you are subscribed and hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time I post a video. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you very soon. And until then, keep rocking your locks. Bye.